Well, this afternoon, Ruth Miller waived her right to a jury trial, instead asking the judge for a bench trial next week in Tuscarawas County Court. Now, the Amish mother is charged with murder in the death of her 4-year-old son back in August.
She's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Annabelle Childers live now in the newsroom. Annabelle, how does this change the next steps?
Well, guys, both legal teams agreed on moving forward to a bench trial, meaning instead of a jury, the judge will review all of the evidence and make a decision in this case. Now, as you may remember, Ruth Miller was arrested in August of last year after driving a golf cart into Atwood Lake that was carrying 3 of her children. When law enforcement officials arrived to the scene, they discovered through talking to Miller that her husband and 4-year-old son were missing. She told them her husband had gone swimming late at night in the lake to prove his faith, and she had thrown her 4-year-old son, Vincent Miller, into the lake as a sacrifice to God. Investigators found both of their bodies in the water. Miller was charged with murder, aggravated murder, felonious assault, endangering children, and domestic violence. And as her case has moved through the court process, she pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Today in court, her attorney, Friedman, made the request for a bench trial, citing the findings of 3 separate mental health evaluations commissioned by the court, the defense, and the prosecution.
Those 3 reports all concluded and opined that Ruth Miller was not guilty by reason of insanity at the time of the conduct in this case and could not appreciate the wrongfulness of her conduct at that time.
Now, the prosecution also acknowledged the findings in these mental status evaluations and agreed to submit the case as a bench trial. After ensuring that Ruth Miller understood her rights and the decision she was making, the judge granted that request. He says over the next week, he's going to review the exhibits in this case, which are the police report, the 3 mental status evaluations, and the statements that Ruth Miller said to officials on the day of her arrest. And then the judge will issue a verdict in the trial next Tuesday, March 3rd at 10 a.m. Coming up at 5, I'm going to share what Miller's defense attorney said after this pretrial hearing ended. Jay.
All right, Annabelle, we look forward to that report. Thank you.